you know, really strong first 3 quarters. What were you most impressed with from your defensive effort, especially in that first half?
I thought we did a lot of things well. I thought we played with good, force, and we made them feel us. Thought we were disciplined in our coverages against not just Caitlyn, but kind of everybody down the line, which is what we wanted to do better than we did last time. Thought Steph did a great job on Aaliyah Boston. It's not an easy matchup. Just kept her composure and didn't get tangled up and all that stuff. And I thought everybody who played gave us a really good contribution.
You got early offensively. You guys got a little. Yeah, I think. Oh, assists were piling up.
Yeah,
I forget the numbers off the top of my head, especially early. A lot of back cuts. Was that something that you identified pre-game as something that was there, or is that something that kind of evolves in the game and it just kind of worked out that way?
Yeah, I mean it's what we've tried to do a lot anyway. But we've had some success, the last couple times we played them, getting some of those, and it helps when our pace is better. I thought for the last couple games our pace had been really not great offensively, and tonight it was better coming out of the gate. Helps when you're getting stops. I thought our bigs passed the ball well. Our guards made good cuts. Thought everybody was just locked in and involved in, kind of knowing what they do well.
To ask about Ariel, efficient offensively, but it was a lot of the little things.
Yeah.
She got a hand on the ball here. Chased around Caitlyn for that second half.
Mm-hmm.
How much do we not notice some of those little things that she does? Because it seemed like had a lot of those things.
Sometimes I don't notice them all, to be honest with you. Like I'll watch the game back and be like, what happened? Oh, Ariel just knocked the ball out of bounds, like off of somebody's leg. She just saves a lot of plays. Even there at the end, the jump ball. I think she kind of violates the way we like to violate, and stepped in front of whoever it was and ends up on the floor on a loose ball. Like she's a winner, man. She makes winning plays. She's a champion. She's a gold medalist. That's why everybody in that locker room has so much respect for her.
Just one last thing. What got wonky there in that fourth quarter?
I think we did a lot of things that you kind of start working on in elementary and middle school, just soft outlet passes and casual reversals, dribble over half court and stop. And that just swings momentum, in a game like that when, hey, it was a great crowd, great atmosphere, good young team. That's probably not the last time they're going to make a run at somebody in this building in a fourth quarter. They did it to New York the other night. But, I thought we just kind of just gave away several possessions in that fourth and didn't even get shots. And then you feel it a little bit when you start turning it over. So we can be smarter. I thought our defense, when we got into half court, held up pretty well. But when we just gave them transition buckets, it, swung the momentum.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Jen?
Eric, you kind of talked about this a little bit when you mentioned, everyone who played contributed, but I wanted to ask you about the bench group specifically, 35 points from that unit. What'd you like from that group?
I mean, Tori's been anchoring it for us now for a while. She's been playing really good basketball. I thought defensively in the first half, she was sensational, making hustle plays. There's one, she got knocked down. They picked the ball up. They ran and she sprinted back in the lane to get a deflection. She's just been setting the tone for that group. That was a good game from Aaliyah, I thought. And Jade, I thought, really played just like smart, good, solid basketball, cutting off the ball, attacking. Did a good job defensively for a really young player. I thought she locked into the scout really well, and it was good to have Emily back. We missed her last game, so it's nice to have some options for sure.
I know we've talked about this at different points in the season, but kind of when you look back to where this team was the first couple times you played the Fever to today, what kind of stands out about the progress you've made? Maybe fourth quarter notwithstanding.
I don't think we've played great now for a few games. And so it was good to see us play well, just to move the ball and cut and make good reads and play with confidence. That was nice to see. But I thought that's the best we defended them. I thought we really dug in and locked into them. That's the kind of defense we're capable of playing. I know the stats don't end up looking that great defensively probably because of the fourth quarter, but I thought we really did a good job locking into our schemes and making it hard for all their players. And it's just a sign of us growing up a little bit and playing with a little more maturity until the last, till the last quarter.
Thank you.
Tyler.
Eric, on that last quarter, when you're calling timeout, trying to get the momentum back, what are you trying to instill to the team there to just swing that momentum back in your favor, kind of cut out some of those turnovers?
I'm just trying to make sure we know what we're in, what we're running. Sometimes game gets a little crazy and you worry about one thing too much, we just have a careless turnover and you get stuck on that. And then all of a sudden Caitlyn Clark's popping open off a screen and you've lost your focus on what was working well for 3 quarters. So, it didn't help. We just started the quarter badly, gave them a run right off the bat. And then that kind of set the tone for the quarter. But just trying to make sure what we were in, we executed a few things pretty well. And then I thought at late game, when we got our defense set, we did a good job.
And we've talked about Steph a couple times this year, but what about her evolution of her game within your offense and within your defense? And we kind of saw that in different ways today, but could you speak on that maybe a little bit more?
Well, she's a pretty versatile player. I don't know if she always gives herself credit for all the things that she can do. When she shoots the way she does, she makes teams make adjustment on scheme. So we see switching. So she can roll down and facilitate or score from the block. And put her at the top of the floor and use her as a facilitator. And she's obviously a great screener. So, and the thing I think maybe I've been most impressed with the last month or even the whole season is defensively, she's done a phenomenal job on a lot of different post players.
And my last one is on how you guys covered Caitlyn. I know she got going there in the fourth quarter on a lot of those transition buckets, but you had Jade covering her in the first half. Julie got some reps, Ariel there down the stretch. What were you guys, in switching the defender, what were you guys trying to do to kind of get her off balance with those different matchups?
Well, Ariel was her matchup. I think what happened a lot was they were cross matched. So when when we scored and they jumped it in bounds, it was kind of the closest person taker. That's the biggest thing is you can't be so busy trying to get the right matchups. All of a sudden she's throwing it over the top to somebody for a layup. We gave up a couple early and then we cleaned that up. It was kind of anybody who's got to pick up the ball has got to take it. Same for Kelsey Mitchell and whoever else was playing on the wing for them. But I thought everybody was disciplined about guards getting into the ball, not going under screens, that type of stuff. And then the bigs were good getting up and getting into coverage. So lost her a couple times, but she made a couple tough ones too.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, y'all. So, we talked pregame about the defense and outside of 1 quarter, you guys pretty much locked it down. Had a very good game defensively. What did you like most about the defensive effort today outside of the 4th quarter?
I thought our pick and roll coverage, I thought we were talking a lot, which was helpful for me as a guard, not being able to see behind me. And so I could really hear my teammates tonight.
I know you get up for everything and you treat everything the same, but when you have to have an assignment where you're going against a guard that puts up a lot of numbers and does a lot of different things, what's your approach? Do you get a little bit of hype for?
Yeah.
Don't get hype, but it's a challenge. When you
No,
have a
I think it's
challenge.
exciting. She's good at what she does. She's a dynamic scorer. So for me personally, I just do my best to try to make their life uncomfortable. But I think it's also kind of twofold. You can't just get too hype about one player and you forget that. Their team is good, and I told you kind of earlier, like they've been building chemistry. So as much as you want to put emphasis on one player, you gotta find, I guess, the balance in it.
Steph, I want to ask you about the offense. Lots of assists today, lots of back cuts. What was working so well in that facet of the game? I don't know if it was something that you identified against how they were facing y'all, or if that's what you're always trying to do.
I think it was just like our pace. I think when we play our offense with a really good pace and speed, it can catch the guards, especially off balance and not really ready. So anytime they're cutting, I'm looking, and I tell them all the time if they cut to look at me because I will pass the ball. So I think that's what we really did well for most of the game until the end, but we were just moving the ball really well.
I want to ask you about Ariel.
Mhm.
She super effective and put up points, but yeah, but so many little things,
Yeah.
giving that little
Jump ball at the end
yeah,
or the
all
steal. Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. What really kind of catches your eye when she's kind of doing all of those little things outside of scoring?
Just her aggressiveness. I mean, in general, I think she's been doing a really good job of staying consistent. And even when she's not scoring, she's still doing that little stuff. But today, especially, I mean, I think she did a really good job of just being not finishing the plays, being the first one to the ball, like a loose ball. And the end, I mean, she saved it for us. I mean, she made that really tough shot at the end and then got the jump ball. So just huge plays today. And then defensively, she was incredible. So all around, really good game.
Quick and easy to me. Thank you. Beautiful.
Jen?
Hey Ariel, hey Steph. For both of you, you talked about the defense today. Just curious, kind of looking big picture, earlier in the season to now, where do you feel like the defense has kind of gelled or improved as of late?
Probably our communication, like A said. I think in the beginning, especially when you're trying to find that chemistry with your teammates, it's also chemistry on defense, like not knowing what each other is going to do. We're just starting to learn everyone's weaknesses, but also what they're really good at on defense, and just kind of talking through it and then listening.
Is the similar thing that you're seeing offensively too? I know early in the season, you guys would talk about, just learning each other's tendencies, what you guys like, and maybe getting easier shots. Do you feel like that's been different, or are there other things that are helping you guys click like you did today?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same thing. Like we're just figuring out what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. I mean, you can kind of see it's kind of constructing it as guards, like us coming down in transition. Like one guard may go through because we want her coming off this side versus this side, or working off this pick with this post. I think we're figuring each other out. But also, I think a big thing that Steph said is like we're actually listening too. I think it's kind of like, again, it's like twofold. Like we can talk, but we're also listening as well. So I mean, we're figuring it out, each other out.
Well, that's thing for me, just for either of you, Aaliyah, 12 points, 6 boards today. How have you kind of seen her kind of settle in as she gets back from this injury now coming off the bench here?
I think she knows her strengths and weaknesses as well. I think we do too. So we're just trying to put everyone in positions to be successful. And I think she does that already naturally. And then her offensive rebounding, defense, everything. She's just been playing, really solid for us.
Thank you both.
Tyler?
Hey, Steph, hey, Ariel, congrats. I'll direct this at Ariel, but this could be really for any one of you. Obviously, there were moments early on in the season where you guys kind of had those leads in the fourth quarter and things kind of didn't go your guys' way. Today, you guys were able to put it all together and at least just hold on at the end. What's the difference between the team now and what you guys were able to do compared to earlier on?
I mean, to be honest, it's like trial by fire, right? Like you said, like we've been in those situations, and I think after those games, we'll be like, hey, like we're gonna be here again, and we need to figure it out. So I think just our ability to kind of lock into each other, and honestly, down the stretch, I feel like we're making better decisions on both ends of the ball. And I think that's helped us. I mean, as today, we figured out how to close out the game, gave up a lead, but we won. So here we are.
We were able to build the lead.
There it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. That's it, Kara.
That's it. Thank you both.